The impact of suffering education on children's love lives and marriages. Impact of self-sacrificing education. People raised with self-sacrificing education are particularly vulnerable to toxic relationships. Those forced to accept their parents' suffering education from a young age tend to subconsciously feel inadequate in intimate relationships. They believe they can't do anything right, are insecure and timid, longing for love yet fearing it. This makes them ideal prey for manipulative partners. In cognitive psychology, this is called parent-child role reversal. It describes a role reversal between parents and children. Immature parents and children forced to grow up too soon. Parents transfer their life anxieties to their children. For instance, as a child, you might excitedly want to eat a hamburger, but your parents dampen your enthusiasm, saying, "This meal cost us a day's wages. We're sacrificing everything for you. If we didn't have you, our lives would be so different." Such comments permeate a child's entire upbringing. While parents intend to express their hardships and sacrifices, children don't feel touched but instead experience intense guilt. They feel responsible for all the negative aspects of their parents' lives. This guilt persists into adulthood, manifesting in intimate relationships as insecurity, timidity, and a strong sense of unworthiness. Manifestations in relationships. These individuals desperately crave others' approval but feel undeserving, constantly trying to please others. In every relationship, they position themselves as inferior, prioritizing others' needs over their own, often completely ignoring their own desires. I recently saw a viral story on TikTok about a mother lecturing her daughter in a supermarket because the girl wanted to buy a $4 drink. Some netizens commented, "10 years later, when she buys me a drink, it'll feel like home." This mother's parenting approach makes it easy for her grown daughter to be moved by cheap displays of affection. A simple compliment or an expensive meal could make this girl completely devoted. In their world, they love whoever likes them and reciprocate kindness excessively. They respond to their partners by emptying themselves, metaphorically dying to gain their partner's love. This suffering education is accompanied by endless criticism, belittlement, and fault-finding. Parental behaviors and their effects. Parents adopt a know-it-all attitude, imposing their past experiences and thought patterns on their children, regardless of relevance. They pressure their children to be first in everything, having never experienced it themselves. Unable to succeed themselves, they fear others' judgment and push their children to bring them honor. When faced with problems, instead of offering comfort, they say things like, "If you can't handle this small difficulty, what can you do in the future? Everyone else can do it. Why can't you? Have I raised you for nothing?" They always remember the child's faults, never their merits, and use "it's for your own good" as an excuse for their harsh words. As children, to secure a stable living environment, they pretend to be mature while internally bearing their parents' emotions. Over time, this leads to complex trauma. Past painful experiences trigger defense mechanisms, making it difficult to enter intimate relationships. They believe love from others comes with conditions. They're only worthy of love if they meet others' requirements. Simultaneously, they view this conditional love as fake, ultimately developing a self-centered, extremely avoidant, and cold psychology. Breaking free and personal growth. To break free from this constraint, psychology suggests who suffers changes, who changes benefits. Rather than dwelling on past hurts, try to change. Tell yourself, "My self-approval comes from within, not from others' likes and satisfaction." When you want to avoid communication, remind yourself, "This is my subconscious, a habit formed by my original family. I must change it." Replace old habits with new ones. Try actively communicating with your partner, dispelling the stereotype that you can only rely on yourself. As you start changing, your subconscious will have less influence. In the book Educated by Tara Westover, there's a passage, "You can love someone but still choose to leave them. You can miss a person every day but still be grateful that they are no longer in your life." For those trapped in their original families, escaping first and then growing is the best shortcut to self-realization. Escaping doesn't mean cutting ties, but maintaining distance from parents' lives. Treat your original family like a rotten fruit. Don't waste time analyzing why it's rotten, or you'll keep bearing the family's negative consequences. Focus on absorbing nutrients and making your own fruit bigger and sweeter. If you enjoyed this series, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your free likes are the greatest encouragement for me. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.